Michael Doolin. You are the Managing Director of Inspire Scotland. Welcome to the Care Home Show.
Thank you, Simon. Firstly, it's great to be here, and it's a big thank you for inviting me. Really appreciate it.
Very welcome. Very welcome. Obviously, we've known each other for a little while now, and I'm sure even relatively earlier on in our kind of in meeting each other, I'm sure we ended up talking about doing a podcast at some point. So it's quite nice the fact that we've managed to get together to put one together. I feel like it's a good time because you've obviously been with Inspire for a decent period of time now. So you've had that opportunity to be able to. There's, I guess, more learnings, more experience, and things that we can discuss today, which will be really, really good fun.
Absolutely. It seems a long time ago where we initially started communicating and talking to each other. Those talks seem forever ago now. A lot has happened in 12 months. Exciting times all round.
Well, yeah, definitely, and obviously we'll get into that as the conversation progresses. But obviously you've got a long track record of working in the social care world in leadership positions and a really diverse range of kind of different care provisions and kind of subsectors, if you like. But I really love what you're doing with Inspire Scotland at the moment. For the audience's benefit, can you explain a little bit about the organisation and exactly the provision that you and the team provide?
Okay, well, Inspire Scotland provides residential care for children and young people in need of care and support at this particular time in their lives. And every child and young person in our care is looked after, respected and supported as an individual. And that's really important to us. A lot of providers and organisations talk about being individual to that person who's receiving care. We believe that we really deliver that to our service users and young people.
Mm-hmm. Got you. And I think it's fair to say from what I've understood, some of the young people that you looked after, they've had a bit of a rough start in life. They haven't had kind of an ideal beginning of their life. So a lot of what you're doing as well is kind of helping young people to find themselves and to kind of to build those foundations and things as well, which I just think it's beautiful. It's such an important job where people haven't had those opportunities, that correct environment and things, or maybe the best environment for them to be able to flourish.
Absolutely, Simon. I couldn't have put it any better myself. We provide care and support to children and young people who have had not the best start in life for a variety of different reasons. And some of the children and young people have been quite through a period of real trauma. So when we are providing the care and support to these children and young people, it is that individual basis. It's treating that children or young person with the respect that they're due, enabling, supporting these children and young people to be exactly that, to be children, with the element of risk involved in that, but it's letting the children and young people be exactly that with their support and guidance along the road. We also provide a bespoke educational service as well, which we like to call educators. And we deliver the curriculum in a variety of different formats to our children and young people. And that may well mean that our young people have decided they are not going to engage in the kind of traditional education, i.e. going to school. So we bring the school to them with our education team who come in and deliver that curriculum or parts of the curriculum in their house environment. So we try and enable them to then get back on that track to having a loving, caring childhood, if you like.
But then also kind of by wrapping that around that kind of really kind of person-specific provision and education package and things as well. It's not maybe the person doesn't have to maybe have to deal with kind of some of the elements that might not feel specific to them, or that's going to kind of benefit them, or maybe they just don't want to partake in that particular kind of part of the curriculum, as you say, so they can focus on the things where they're going to achieve the most value on a personal level.
Absolutely. Again, totally agree with everything you've just said there, Simon. And it's about us as individuals, as professional carers, to find those ways to enable that child or young person to feel comfortable within their environment and flourish within that environment. So, yeah, it's a real thankful job we do. It's real rewarding and benefit. Is amazing to our frontline staff and everybody associated with delivering the care package.
I remember when you'd first moved into the position. I remember it might have even been before you'd even started. It was certainly in the early days. But yeah, I remember kind of just explaining at a really high level kind of the direction of travel for where you were looking to be, and I just thought, yeah, you know what, that sounds amazing. And yeah, now you're kind of it's more than 12 months, isn't it, now that you've been in post?
Believe it or not, Simon, it's 10 months.
Wow,
Not even at the end of so January of this year. And we're kind of in the 19th of October, so under a year.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you covered some ground since then. We'll come on to that later for sure. But yeah, that definitely feels like longer than a year, just because of the amount of stuff that you've achieved. But yeah, we'll definitely come on to that later. But one thing I did want to talk about, the genesis of Inspire Scotland has got quite a story to it. So yeah, explain how the business was established, because that's just a wonderful story in itself, and then explain a little bit about the journey ever since that genesis.
Yeah, so the business was born out of an idea between a group of friends, intrinsically linked through fostering, delivering care to children and young people. And they essentially just thought one night, as business ideas come to you, we could put our heads together and come up with a better service, and we could deliver this service, delivering real outcomes to children and young people better than what is being offered in the sector at this moment in time. So that's exactly what happened. This group of friends with all different strengths in specific areas, that collection of people with the broad experience that they shared in the sector, shaped what was to become Inspire Scotland. And through the shared vision, and passion, Inspire Scotland has never looked back since then. To start the whole journey off, one of the owners, his family home became the first residential care home of Inspire Scotland, and it went from there, from the humble beginnings of the first service, roughly about 8 and a bit years ago, to where we are today. From one, and we're sitting with 13, with another few coming online in the very near future. So it's been a journey. The collection of individuals involved have all brought something specific to that journey to be the success which Inspire Scotland is today.
It's such a nice story in as much as the fact that, like, yeah, they had the vision. They kind of I've got this image in my head around of a decent group of people kind of having a beer together and just saying, yeah, you know what, like, let's just do this. And as we know, a lot of those conversations where people are kind of together in those sets of circumstances, they don't necessarily come to fruition, or maybe they don't come to fruition quite as planned. And yeah, they've just cracked on with it and made it happen. I also think I can just imagine trying to pitch to my fiance, Darling, we're going to start this residential care business for young people, and yeah, the first home's going to be our home. So we're going to have to find somewhere new to live. I can only imagine what type of reception that I would get back from that. So yeah, bless her. My fiance is definitely open-minded, but I can imagine some certainly some pushback from that particular idea. So
I think the most important takeaway from me learning that story and journey was all the owners, the value base that they personally have and not just focus on that one element, because that's one story of many. But it shows you the level of real passion to deliver the best service, the best outcome for a young person than giving up your family home and opening your doors to a collection of people needing care and support at that time. I think it's the mark of where Inspire Scotland has been born, and the values and vision and mission of our organisation. That is one story of many, and that's particularly why I was really thankful and lucky to be becoming a part of this journey, because my personal values aligns with not only the owners but also what our vision, mission and values are all about.
Yeah, definitely. I think again, looking back on that that first conversation when you said that you were moving across, when you told me kind of about Inspire Scotland, I remember just feeling it was a piece of you. It was a good fit. You know, that you've got to make sure that you're building a team with the people that have that kind of alignment and things. And I just remember thinking to myself, yeah, you know what, this sounds like a really, really good fit for you. And obviously, I know that you're absolutely loving it and building the business and things. So tell me, you joined the business just 10 months ago. Again, can't quite get my head around the fact that because you've covered some ground since then. But yeah, what has been happening? So explain kind of where the business was when you first started, and then kind of give me an insight into what's been going on since then.
So a lot has happened, and I can't even use the word a lot's happened in a year. So a lot has happened in 10 months. It seems a lifetime ago. Because I'm so ingrained in the business now and what we offer and what we're trying to achieve and what provision we're delivering. So a lot has happened. The business, when I joined, was in a great shape. It needed some tidying up, governance, organisational wise, which was pretty easy to do. I think I'd alluded to during our many conversations, Simon, about being the orchestra of the show at times. There's some great people working in the business who just needed a specific direction of what that function that they were responsible for was all about. So we've managed to continue to do that as the months have rolled on. We've grown our services to reach even more children and young people through those 10 months. And an indicator of that is that we have doubled the effective beds that we had available. So we've done that. We've got a further new 3 services that are coming on board very, very shortly before the end of this year. We have successfully had an acquisition to bring on additional services under the Inspire Scotland brand. So in real terms, the business has doubled in size in 10 months, employee base wise, but also the size of the provision that Inspire Scotland offer now compared to where it offered in January. And that's quite remarkable in such a short period of time. Notwithstanding, and we're not alone in this, we're in the middle of the pandemic that's globally at the moment. So to continue to grow to everything I've just said, I think has been a real testament to the teamwork ethos of everybody in this organisation And that's from owners right down to frontline staff. And I can't thank the whole team as much as I do. And I do that on a regular basis because I feel it's really important to say thank you to everybody for every piece of work that they do. So it's been a real journey in 10 months.
I know the story, and even when I sit and listen to it, it still puts a real smile on my face, because, as you say, the culture that you're creating, the focus on the provision, the people that you're serving, just to be able to do that, and then to be able to double effectively the team and the people that you're looking after and things is it's awesome work. So there's clearly a lot kind of going on, and has been going on, but is going on today. If you kind of cast an eye onto the horizon, kind of what are your aspirations looking like for the future?
I think for us as an organisation, we want to continue to reach even more children and young people to deliver our service to. We did an exercise and some analysis over the last couple of months, and our positive outcomes for our children and young people is incredible. And whether that positive outcome is moving back to the family unit, etc., or moving on to that next stage in their life, their own tenancy, the employment world, etc. It's fantastic when you really see those figures. It's just quite incredible. 78% of our leavers, if you like, move on because they've had positive outcomes, which is quite a number. So yeah, that is the horizon that's coming up. It seems to be coming up very, very quickly, because we continue to grow, because our services in such demand, not just in Scotland, but also south of the border as well, because our reputation has been quite far-reaching. New services coming on board by the end of this year, and at the start of next year, which will be 2021. Seems very, very 2 minutes ago it was 2020. But 2021 will bring the additional more services for Inspire Scotland as well. So that is the aim, is to reach even more children and young people.
Superb. Yeah, well, I'll obviously we talk quite frequently, so I'll look forward to hearing the journey. And maybe in a little bit later on down the line, we'll reconnect and we'll look at what that latest chunk of the story has looked like. But I know there's a lot of great stuff going on. So good on you and the team. I think again, kind of looking back to when we first started speaking, I think one of the really big things that I think we connected on, and probably part of the reason why I've certainly felt really compelled to keep in contact and make sure that we were checking in regularly and things like that, is because we have a real shared passion in culture, so organisational culture. I know that you've obviously been in the social care game for a fair few years now, and from your experience, why do you think that building on culture and building a high performance culture, why do you personally think it's so important?
Well, I think if we go back to the start, and I think we spoke about the architectural culture stuff before, Simon, it's really, really important to me as a person, as a professional in this environment, and working, that everything starts with a value base. It really does, and the vision and mission will come thereof. It's really important to me that culture is correct. We've worked extremely hard from when I've came on board to enhance the culture within Inspire Scotland. It was a great culture, but again, we're striving for even better and even better and even better. And we've created a culture, I believe, that is open and transparent. And it's vitally important to me as a leader that a positive, open culture where people feel empowered to share ideas and their innovations without any fear. That's really important, because that enhances the provision that we're trying to do, what we're trying to deliver to the people who need that service, valuing people for whom they are, warts and all. Let their creativity flow, their skills and their knowledge, because at the end of the day, for me, that builds that whole productivity of the workforce. People buy into what the organisation is all about. And I think we're doing really, really well here at Inspire Scotland. We have a fantastic team, and because we allow people to share their ideas in that open forum, and also share the platform that if we don't agree with things, let's talk about it. Let's bring another way of working to the table. So it's been really, really important. That whole culture is open and positive rather than one of the complete opposite, which you and I have chewed the fat many times about. It's probably not a nice environment to work in every day, but it also you become subdued and you don't be your true self.
I think that's the big thing, isn't it? So for me, when I talk about high performance, and I think sometimes maybe people kind of misconstrue that, it's about having a group of people of like mind who have that alignment, so that they can be the best that they can be. So that's certainly how I describe it, and it certainly sounds like your our view of that is quite consistent. So tell me a little bit about the culture that you are building at Inspire Scotland. So talk me through. So I know that you've got a really clear mission, you've got a really clear vision, and you've got really, really clear values. I'd always kind of describe that as being a cultural architecture, if you like. So talk me through that for Inspire.
Our mission is to improve the life chances of people. And that's not just the people who we support, that's also our employees. That's why we have got an accredited SQA centre. Our education team have just been awarded. We've written our own Inspire Scotland SVQ level 3 for our staff, which we'll be doing in-house now. So we invest heavily, not only in the people who we support, but also our staff members as well, because the mission is to improve the life chances of our children and young people, but it's also to improve the life chances of our employees. And if we can invest in them in terms of their learning and development, then I think that's a complete win-win. Our vision is to be the best you can be, and it's a whole approach. Let us try and support. Let's help. Let's learn. You're in an environment where there's learning development, so that's that whole vision and mission. And our values is our clear expectations, and the most important one is we do whatever it takes to make things happen. And again, not just for the people we support, but for our staff base as well. And I think when you've got all that mixed in, as an employee, you feel valued. You become loyal to that company because they see you as an individual. They invest in you. And that's what I feel we are at the moment. And we have heavily invested in that side of the business for our staff and our children and young people, because we have enhanced our offering through the curriculum and our SQA centre for the children and young people we support as well. And that is, as I explained earlier, taking that curriculum into the main home. If a child or young person is in problems, going into the traditional school environment. So I think all of that lends itself to where we want to be. It's a real passion of mine, and it certainly is.
Tell me about the vision and the values as well, because I think they're a real key part of what makes Inspire special.
It does. Having clear expectations for everyone. Well, we have clear expectations for our staff, doing whatever it takes. As I said, Simon, we do that. We go that extra mile. If we have somebody who needs a particular level of support, we do go that additional mile. We make things happen. And that may well be creative in the care package, how we can make that happen so that we can deliver on a positive outcome for that children or young person. So that's our value base, being included, being respectful. I said at the top, that's all about treating that young person as an individual, but still allowing that room for risk, because children are children, young people are young people. They should still be afforded an element of risk taking in their growing up environment. So it all bodes well. It really bodes well for what we're trying to achieve here at Inspire, and the mission is to improve life chances. That again, if we deliver on our clear values and our vision, and we invest in our staff and we invest in our children and young people, then we will deliver on our mission. And the stat that I gave you, the 78% of positive outcomes, that is delivering on our mission of improving the life chances of our children and young people and our staff as well.
And it's about creating alignment, of course, as well. So the way that when I'm doing coaching sessions, when I'm talking about helping people to create cultural architecture, which is obviously that's quite a big part of what I do on a day-by-day basis. But so what you're looking to map out is, okay, so your mission, or sometimes it can be classed as an intent or a why or a purpose. Sorry. That's about describing, okay, so why are we in business? Why does this organization exist? You've got your vision around, okay, so what is it you're aiming for? And then your value should really be a guideline around how you expect your team to show up to work on a day-by-day basis, and the type of kind of behavior and mindset that they bring. And I mean, I'm obviously, I might come across as maybe being a little bit biased, obviously, because this is something that I'm so passionate about. But I mean, I really would go as far to say that if you create that and you do it properly and you bring your team on the journey, it can be the most important leadership tool that you can ever create, because it's providing that cohesive kind of direction around, again, why you're in business or why your organization exists, what you're aiming for, and how you expect your team to behave. And it becomes your operating system for your people when you don't just have it, but you really apply it. And I think that's something that you're obviously really keen on, and something you've been very successful at Inspire. So I guess would you agree with that it really should be the most important leadership tool that an organization can develop?
Absolutely. We have a variety of different vehicles to share ideas with staff. And as I said earlier, valuing people is really a big thing for us, and bringing skills and expertise and just knowledge in different areas. We have created a senior management team, and each one of those people brings something completely different to the table, and we always seem to find a solution or a new innovative way of working or delivering a better outcome. And I think when people are empowered, that is a real recipe for future positive working. We are clear, and so is our employees. We're clear on our value base, what our vision is, and how our mission basically gets developed and delivered at that point. We spend a lot of time on those three: values, vision, mission, and our recruitment of our staff. So already they have an understanding of where we are as an organisation, and we place a lot of importance on those three: the values, vision, and mission. But then running alongside that in the induction process, what we've developed is that we will take those culture creators, if you like, from existing services through the induction process, and they will work to build that culture of the new staff that's coming on board. Basically kind of coaching and mentoring, just to help people bed in. And that's been really successful. I think we know that the attrition rates in our sector, roughly about 30%. Our retention rates are really low in the sector, and I firmly believe that's because people really buy into our values, our vision, and our mission, and they feel a part of that journey. And and being able to align their personal values, align themselves to our vision and our mission. So I think we're doing well in that.
I guess that's the key thing, isn't it? Because where you've got that alignment and you've got kind of a team working cohesively together, because people, they have that similar worldview in there. They've got that kind of consistent operating system, and they've had their expectations managed, and they're working together to achieve common goals and things. It's really, really key. But what you're doing there is you're fostering commitment, you're fostering loyalty to the team, because everyone's driving towards ultimately towards the same goals. And by doing that, people will recognize the fact that if the average in the country is kind of 30%, that's because maybe there's some of the organizations, they don't have that commitment, they don't have that loyalty, that culture hasn't been fostered over time. And people feel happier to move on to another organization where they maybe they will feel more valued, and where they can feel like they're providing a more significant contribution to a team working together. I know that as you say, your employee retention rates are that bit higher than the kind of the average in the sector. And that's because of the grit determination of the team that's been fostered through that culture. So it's a testament to the hard work that you and the rest of the team have put into making that the case. But really living your culture, making it kind of the practical application on a day by day basis, to make sure that people do want to stick around. Yeah. Why would you want to leave when you're having fun with a merry band of other people that you're all working together to achieve the same things?
Absolutely, we say that our values, vision is not just words on our office walls. We see these happening, being lived and breathed every single day, and that's absolutely correct. We do see these every single day when the team visits our homes. You can see it. You can test the emotional temperature, if you like, of the home when you go in, and it is a nurturing, loving environment where kids are kids, young people are young people. And that's a fantastic environment to work in. But it is living and breathing our values. And that to me is what we're all about. And you're right, Simon, what you're saying is the difference between our organisation and perhaps another organisation is perhaps we spend that wee bit more time on the culture, the positive atmosphere, having the positive vibe round about us, having that openness where you can be yourself. That is a big factor in people staying, being employed in the same organisation. We have from day one, rewinding the clock back to one of the owners vacating their own family home and opening that as the first home. We have still got real high percentage of people who started with the business back when the first home was opened, the second home, the third home. It's incredible, and we use them as the culture creators. These people have been with the business for a long time. So great place to be, and we continue to work hard.
I really like what you mentioned earlier about kind of taking the cultural temperature. You know when you walk into a care home, whatever the provision, where it's got a great culture, it's got an energy to it. There's a real palpable feel to what's going on, and there's also a real almost not even negative, but sometimes just an empty culture where there's no vibe, there's no energy or anything like that. And if there's no energy in the room, then the team are going to feel deflated, and the people living in the home, they're probably not experiencing the best of life, which is sad. So one thing that I think, I know we said that we were going to try and commit to trying to avoid the C word, COVID, too much, because I think it's one of those things that's been talked about endlessly. But I'd love to know what you think from in the context of culture. how impactful do you think that Inspire's culture has been, given your growth during what's just been the craziest set of circumstances the world has, one of the craziest set of circumstances that the world has ever been, or seen rather?
I look back with our senior team. I look back with the board and think 10 months, doubled in size in real terms, the business doubled in size, occupancy very, very favourably, even growing, new services coming in line, acquisitions, COVID, and you think, wow, what a 10 months, not just for our organisation, but in particularly our organisation being on that journey. Our culture, I firmly believe, has had a major factor in how we've responded to COVID and dealing with the fallout and the pressures that this pandemic has had on our provision. Only I know my other colleagues in different domains, they'll all experience some all sorts, and my heart goes out to not just the providers but the families of people affected by COVID. We've worked hard at creating that culture of positivity and an environment of learning and innovation. As I said, staff are encouraged and they feel part of something special, that their skills and their knowledge and opinions matter. There's a real collaboration and teamwork and interaction that I have witnessed within our teams, none more so than during where we're at the moment in this pandemic. Our staff are still motivated. It's incredible to watch, and we spoke earlier about, I touched on a little bit the productivity of the staff. You can see the productivity levels rising because there's great morale. And running alongside that, to date, Inspire Scotland has not used 1 hour of agency staff through this pandemic, and that in itself is an achievement, considering. But the level of commitment that our staff have displayed is beyond humbling to me. It really, really is beyond humbling. It's every single person has really battened the hatches down, following all the PPE guidance to the letter, etc., etc., etc. And as the leader of the organisation, I couldn't be any prouder than what we've achieved. And that, I firmly believe, Simon, I know we've spoken about this, is down to the culture that we have created within this business. I really believe that plays a huge part.
So important, so very important indeed. So if most of the people that listen to the show are leaders in their own right, whether that be a leader of a team or a leader of an entire organisation. So if there's somebody out there that's maybe coming from an organisation which maybe doesn't have such a good culture, or even it's got a good culture and it just wants to keep making those positive changes, to keep chipping away to building that high performance culture, where do they need to start and what do they need to focus on?
I think the only thing I could say to other people is ensure that every employee knows and shares the same values as the organisation and where they fit in, and where they can contribute positively to driving these values to deliver the mission and the vision of that organisation. For me, that is things in a nutshell.
Got you. So having that cultural architecture in place and just putting it to work, that's the real big key thing. Got you. Lovely stuff.
It's really important that as a person, when you're looking to either join another organisation, that you know what that culture is like, what is the values of that business, what is their mission, what is their vision for what they're trying to achieve. And if that aligns with you personally, how do you then contribute to that? What skills, what can you add to that? How can you deliver on the vision and mission while aligning your own personal values with that organisation's? And that for me is a recipe that is going to bake a really, really fantastic cake.
Sounds pretty awesome to me. So, Michael, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me on the Care Home Show today.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.